If you have a business, you're delivering some kind of value that is helping somebody in some way. Otherwise, they wouldn't be paying for your service. And so finding the why behind that value that you're delivering and the meaning behind that. So how is, even if it's something like a fast food restaurant, well, people are busy. They need to get their kids to the soccer game. This is just yet another way that maybe they're not doing it all the time, but it's something that saves them a little time so they can have more connected time with their family. Like you can come up with kind of in any industry, the value that you're delivering and how that makes someone's life better.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today, we're going to talk about a high performance culture, the strategies that you have to have or need to have in order to move your culture are very important. So we're going to outline just some of the strategies today with our special guest, Tim Vogel. He's the CEO of Scenthound. They are a franchise system helping you with proactive dog care. Think nails and teeth and all the other things. Really is incredible performance that they've had with their company. About 100 employees, but they made the Inc. list multiple times. And they've done that because they care about their people and they care about the culture that they run. So we talk about the strategies for a high performance culture. A couple of things I really want to highlight about what I liked about this conversation was he talked about the habits or practices of culture. Now, he outlines the specific ways that he does this in one aspect of that. He also talks about the need for over-communicating and what happens when people make fun of you for saying the same thing over and over and over. Actually, it's a good thing. But I really appreciate Tim for being here, and hopefully you get a ton out of this. My name is Gene Hammett. I am the host of Grow Think Tank, but I'm also an executive business coach. We run a business where we coach founders, CEOs, executives of fast growth companies. We also help you with managers who need to be leaders. We really believe that these people are hungry and they really want to grow, but they don't have the support in the systems. A book isn't enough. An online course isn't enough. They need real coaching and support to develop the skills to grow with the business. And that will keep you growing and keep your culture where you want it to be. If you're curious about these things, one of the things you can do is connect with us through Core Elevation, which is our core business website. Core Elevation has virtual conversations. You can find it there. We get together with people that have been on the show before, with some other experts, and we talk about certain topics. You can engage with us. You don't have to you're not going to get pitched anything, but if you are curious about that, just go to coreelevation.com/virtual conversations, and it's for executives of fast growth companies. One of the things that I am excited about this is this interview will really help you with your culture. So here's Tim. Tim, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How you doing, Gene?
I am top of the world. We're going to have a great conversation about a high performance culture. Before we dive into that, tell us about your business, Scenthound.
So it's a dog routine hygiene and wellness dog business. So we've got centers across the U.S. where you can bring your dog in and get basic routine hygiene and maintenance for your dog on a membership base. Scenthound stands for skin, coat, ears, nails, teeth, the 5 core areas all dogs need care.
Well, I'm a dog person. I have 2. I really probably should do a lot more of that caring. Maybe you're trying to get to it. You have offices all over the country, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so we're really excited. We're going to be opening up our 100th location in this month. So super excited about that. And yeah, we're really just dog people, and we want to make it fast, easy, and affordable for dog parents to be great dog parents. And we want to educate them on how to care for their dogs in the best way.
Well, I need to check out what you do for my dog or dogs. I have 2 of them. I'm really excited about you being on the show today because we're going to talk about the performance culture that really drives your success. You made the Inc. 5000 recently, so you've performed at a high level. You've made it multiple times. I've got on my list that you've made it 3 times. Is that right? 4 times?
Yep.
You got about 100 employees. So, you're not crazy big, but tell us a little bit about your culture before we kick off into how to create a high performance culture.
Yeah, so I think if I was to back out for a second and think about kind of what is the main driver of our culture, it's really that we're a mission-driven culture. So we're really about helping people live happier, longer lives through a side door, which is their dog. So if we can get people to think about something other than themselves, their dog, if they can empathetically connect with their dog and care for the needs for their dog, they actually become happier, healthier humans. So we enrich the connection between dogs and and people and their dogs. So that's our North Star. And so it's really about helping dogs live happier, healthier, and people. And so that really is the mission that we all care about. That's the juice that gives us the energy every single day to get up and go.
I feel like it's easy for you to connect with a mission. There may be other people in here who goes, our business is software, or our business is, business services. And they would easily say, well, we can't really do that. What would you say to an owner that says, we don't really have that kind of mission that would bind our culture together?
Yeah, I'd say probably nonsense, because if you have a business, you're delivering some kind of value that is helping somebody in some way. Otherwise, they wouldn't be paying for your service. And so finding the why behind that value that you're delivering and the meaning behind that. So how is, even if it's something like a fast food restaurant, well, people are busy. They need to get their kids to the soccer game. This is just yet another way that maybe they're not doing it all the time, but it's something that saves them a little time so they can have more connected time with their family. Like, you can come up with kind of in any industry, the value that you're delivering and how that makes someone's life better.
One of the things I coach them to do, because that's part of my business, is coaching them. If they want to create a better culture, mission is absolutely a big part of that. In fact, if you want people to feel like owners in your business, even if they don't have a financial stake, they have to be bought into the mission. They have to it has to be a part of their identity. I would imagine each of your employees loves dogs. Before you hired them, they love dogs. They probably have dogs, and they come in. It's just a very natural connection to that mission. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a part of it. So we originally, because we're a franchise system, so we bring in partners that open these businesses. And, our original thought was, let's go out and find dog lovers. That's who our great franchisee is. And we actually realized that was wrong. We want to find people that love the entrepreneurial journey, who want to make a difference in their community, who want to serve people who happen to love dogs. And so it's really about finding that right nexus. Like, where is it that we're really finding the needs, desires, and the wants of our customers? So we've got 3 different customers. We've got a franchisee as a customer. We have a dog parent as a customer, and the employee is a customer. Like, these are our 3 main constituents. And each and every one of those constituents probably has a different desire or need. And so it's really being clear on what their value proposition is, what the value proposition for them is, and what really drives them, so that we can be the most impactful and really develop high impact teams.
Really good way to organize this. So I would imagine when you're starting out, you don't think about culture that much. Some people do very, very early, 3 people. I have seen this, but it's rare. It usually happens at about 10 to 20 employees. And I'm just kind of curious, where did you figure out culture was a really important piece to the success of your business?
It's interesting. I first got on the entrepreneurial journey myself because I wanted freedom and I wanted to make money. So it was all about me, and it was about what I was seeking. It wasn't until I had a really traumatic experience in my life. I lost my sister, and she was very young. She was young. And so the epiphany I had was like, oh my God, every year I get after I turned, she was 2 years older than me. Every year after that is a year she never had. And so I had a really kind of like moment where I was like, okay, well, how can I honor her life? How can I make my life more meaningful? And I started to think about my why, like what was really my why behind this? And that was a big turning point for me, where I started to think about like, okay, what kind of significance would I create? What kind of impact did I want to create? What kind of person did I want to be? What were my real values? And it took that kind of tragedy for me to pause and reflect. And oddly enough, when I started to think about those things and do those things, the business started to really take off.
So that happened during, you'd already launched the business, and then you lost your sister, and you had these moments of reflection to figure out your, I'll summarize this. The why is like the legacy, the impact you're going to make in this world.
Yeah.
And you listed the values and the other things. Do I have that correct? That it was your business?
I started as a mobile pet grooming business with the intention of scaling, found out there was a lot of problems, then opened a retail location so we could solve a bunch of those problems, have deep learning of the industry, and then shifted to this Scenthound thing. But I was just testing it, and then that event happened. And that was when I really pulled back. I actually got a business coach to help me guide me through this process, which is critical to have in your life as an entrepreneur, and started asking the right questions. And when I started changing my mentality about I wanted freedom and I wanted success to I wanted to serve and I wanted to live my value system and I wanted to make a difference, then everything started to fall in place for me. And that's when I started to attract, and this is really the key, when it's about something greater than yourself, you start to attract people who align with your values, your vision, and your mission. And they want to be on the same mission with you because they have the same value system. They have the same outlook on the world. And that's when that really started to get powerful and momentum started to happen.
Now, Tim just talked about the need for business coaches. I'm not going to make this a commercial, but I have a coach myself. I am a coach. I've been a coach for 12 years. I grew businesses and I've had coaches in different areas forever, it seems like. And I really believe that one of the values of having coaches, having conversations you've never had before, really helping you be honest with yourself, be self-aware, and figure out exactly how to move forward. My coaches have helped me with confidence and clarity, and that's what I do for others. But if you don't have a coach, I seriously consider you looking for a coach that fits you. If we can help you, happy to do that. But if you want to find someone else that better fits you, I believe in coaching. You should too. Back to Tim. Now, I know you said you hired a business coach. It wasn't me. I'll be very clear with everyone listening in. But you hired one. I bet for a moment there you thought, it's really expensive to hire this other person to guide me. I've been successful to this point. What is one really breakthrough that you and your coach discovered together in your journey to where you are?
Yeah, so there's a bunch, but I think the pause and really why are you doing this? What's the meaning? What gets you excited every single day? And then that ladders down to what is your real value system? What's important to you? What is your ethics? And when you start to get clarity on that, things start to get together. I think the other part where a coach has been really powerful for me personally is this blind spot concept. You just don't know what you don't know, and you don't see what you don't see. And if you're connected with someone on a regular basis, they have the ability to identify, don't you realize you do this every single time that happens? And you're like, no, let's talk more about that. Let's identify that. And so that having someone, a third party, be able to help you identify blind spots. And the more you expose about yourself, the more you share about your insides, the more the blind spots become visible to somebody else where they can help you through those. So those are two really powerful aspects of having a coach for me.
The blind spot that Tim has been talking about is hard to identify yourself because it's a blind spot. You don't know it. You're not aware of it. So my point is, I hope that you really want to identify the blind spots. You want to have conversations with people that can help you with it. Lean in and look for these things. Take a spotlight and shine it on those things. It will help you. Back to Tim. It's beautiful. Well said. I'm glad that you got the help you needed and really the guidance, because it really is that third party perspective. One benefit that I've already talked about from a coaching standpoint is I'm not emotionally attached to anything with my clients. They are. Yeah. They can't see it the way I do without that emotion. Yeah. And when I get them to have different conversations and get them to see things differently, there's those transformational opportunities. Some people take it, some people don't. I want to switch back gears to the culture, Tim. I'm an analytical. My background is engineering in school. I never was an engineer, but I love data. Are you measuring anything specific with culture that you think would help others measure their own and improve their culture?
Yeah, it's so funny. A lot of people say you need a better culture. We need to think about culture. Culture, in my opinion, is a consequence, and it's really a consequence of practices. And so what are the practices that you're putting in place? And a lot of those can be analytical. I think they're more process oriented in my perspective. Although things like NPS can measure the outcome of that culture. But for us, when I started to think about if we want a specific culture, what practices do we want to put in place? One of the practices that's been really powerful for us is our daily huddle. So in our centers, we run a daily huddle every morning, but even at our corporate office here, every team runs a daily huddle. And every Wednesday, the entire company does a daily huddle. And we really cover 5 main things in a daily huddle. What did I do yesterday to move a rock forward? So we're on the EOS system, if people are familiar with that. What am I doing today to move a rock forward? So now there's instant accountability to your group every single morning, where you're saying, this is what I'm going to do today, and then this is what I did yesterday. So you're out loud saying, did I get something moved forward that's a big initiative? Number 3, what am I stuck on? So, hey, I'm waiting on something from so-and-so, or it's just a way to put out there so some people can hear, oh, I should probably connect with Tim afterwards about this because he's stuck on that. What am I grateful for? And the grateful is really, really important. I think of leadership as kind of, you have to be the tuning fork for your organization, and all your leaders have to be the tuning fork. So how am I showing up in a grateful way? Gratitude puts you in a great state. So what am I grateful for? And then the last one is a value shout out. So we got 5 values. I catch someone doing something right every single day. Hey, Josh, thanks so much for jumping in and helping me with that problem yesterday. Way to display the one pack value. And that's one of our 5 core values. And so just catching people doing right and bringing the core values into our day-to-day presence. And the one thing I forgot about the huddle is we start it with our North Star, and we tell a story about how we help the dog, how we help the dog parent. We read a customer review, good or bad, but we just get ourselves present to why we exist and why we're here.
I love this structure. And my hope is that everyone's taking notes on this. I don't have a download for you. I don't have anything like that. We don't really do that for you here. We're not going to hold your hand, but you just outlined a practice. Very important to have these practices that, and they get to be rituals, right? When a practice is something that we enjoy doing and we really love to do, and that changes culture in a big way. Any other principles around this? Like, how long is the huddle? How many people are typically in a team huddle? Like, what's the limit? And any other things that you want to highlight there?
Yeah, so 15 minutes max. It's got to be quick. It's kind of a stand-up huddle. It's just a way for us to connect and align every single day, and then drag forward all of our values, our mission, our North Star, and make it present, because a lot of people think about them, they do their quarterlies, they do their annuals, they put them on paper, and then they evaporate. They're meaningless in that case. So unless they're in practice, unless there's a daily practice of that, then, and someone once said to me, and I think this is really great, how do you know when you're having an impact on your team? And they said, the moment they start making fun of you for saying it so many times, you know it's actually starting to have an impact, right?
That's a really good way to put it. And I've had this conversation before. Over communication is something that people would say, and it seems like it's a bad thing, but I know it's not. You know it's not. People will make fun of you. Hey, you told us that yesterday. You told us that 40 times this month. Yes. Yes, I did. And it's important to remember it. Maybe we need to get better at telling it in different ways and with different stories and different angles of approach. But over communication is a very important part of culture. So we've been talking about the practices. We just talked a little bit about communication. Anything else that you feel like really impacts the culture that you have there?
Yeah, I think the mission is really important. And so one of my key jobs as a CEO is to show the point on the hill that we're trying to take, right? And it's that business owner mentality, right? Like, we're all in this together. We're all a group of people shoulder to shoulder taking this hill. And so I infuse on a regular basis what we're actually doing, what the grand vision is, where we're going to. And we haven't achieved this yet. And I say, this is where we are, but this is the point that we're going to. Let's keep going back to that point. Let's keep thinking about that. What is it that we're doing that's special in the world? How are we going to deliver great value? How are we going to disrupt? How are we going to make the world a slightly better place? How are we going to help people practice love on a daily basis? What are these things that our vision is about, and connect them back to that over and over and over, so that it creates alignment, it creates excitement, and it creates that business owner mentality.
I don't know who's responsible for culture in your business. You have 100 people. I know the easy thing would be say, well, it's up to me because I'm the CEO. Have you, delegated ownership of culture at this point to someone else in your organization?
No. So the way I think about kind of scaling culture is through process. And so I am not in the sales daily huddle. I'm not in the business coaches daily huddle. But they're running the same huddle every single time. And they're starting with our North Star, and they're reading a review, and they're doing the core kudos shout outs and all of the gratefuls and all that. So that's how we delegate it, is through kind of systems and processes. So, the saying is, culture eats process for breakfast or something like that. Well, it's actually because of a process that culture is so great.
It's a good place for us to end. My hope is that people have leaned into this message about a high performance culture, taking some of the very practical parts about mission, the daily huddle, the practice of that, over communicating until they make fun of you, and then keep going, because it really is working. When they can repeat it back to you, they're getting it. Tim, thanks for being here and being a part of the Growth Think Tank.
Yeah, Gene, such a great time. Thanks for the conversation.
Wow, great interview. Love talking about culture and leadership around that. Hopefully you got a lot out of it. I really appreciate you being here, being a guest on the show, and sharing this with others that might get benefit out of it. When you think of growth and you think of courage, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll talk to you next time.